Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'd like to share one more box opening. Like I said recently, I wanted to share because I opened so much with everyone actually, and it's kind of new for me, so I tend to fumble through these, but for your enjoyment and my own, I thought why not do this together. I really am liking this set. I'm not sure that it's being loved as much by me as it is by everybody else, or the other way around. Nevertheless, I'm really into it. Like I say, one of the biggest things about this set is the nostalgia factor. That's kind of what Wizards is relying on as they sell products like this is, hey, it's Dominaria. That's got a lot of staying power. It's got a lot of brand recognition. Well, not necessarily if you're not old like me, or you weren't obsessed with the set that came out in 2018, then this really might not speak to you the same way. So I'm going to roll through this as best I can. Thankfully, these are, I think, the Japanese-made packs. They have the little pull tab, and the rare should be, okay, rare's in the back. But, oh yeah, it's a set booster, so the rare's going to be in the back. I won't pause too much on stuff because it could take forever. Now, this, I think, is going to be an interesting card in Standard the way it has played out so far. Look at that. Vohar and Rona. See, I'm off camera already. Silver Scrutiny, not great. Pilver, okay, cool. So, yeah, like I say, I just don't think that the set has the same staying power as it would with folks who aren't really into Dominaria or haven't been around forever. So that brings up to me kind of an interesting spot for Wizards where the brand recognition that they're relying on. Oh, wow. Pause. Borderless, a dark our waste. That is so beautiful. Look how just barren and icy. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know I'm a sucker for snow and ice themed stuff. Oh, Defiler of Dreams also. Not bad. These Defilers are pretty cool, I think. What do you think about those? They're kind of reducing your costs. And then a foil, legend for commanders. Very cool. But as I was saying, I just don't think that Wizards has seen that they can rely on just the name recognition alone to move products. Now, my argument, though, is that this is a really cool set. I love it. Like I said I'd spare you all from me poring over commons, but man, I've spent a lot of time just like looking at this at the set itself, the stack of cards. Oh, Dahada. That's interesting to get the commander face card in here. I did buy this deck. I really love buying the commander decks. I almost like just keeping them intact and having kind of like a battle in a box ready. Query and Beast Caller, kind of interesting. But that is going to be interesting to me as we move into sets like the Brothers War. Now, the Brothers War is different because the Brothers War has sort of an overarching piece of subject matter that people may find interesting, and that is like, ooh, Foil Mountain. Check that out. Is this showing up on camera? Because it looks amazing to me over here. The subject matter of the Brothers War is something that I think is a little more universally interesting, and that's like, oh, there's a cool showcase Zur. And that, oh, and a Braids, okay. Oh, and a list card, Death Coil Worm. I kind of don't understand still why they put the bulk cards in the list slot. This excluded. Very cool. But the Brothers War having like kind of a mecha vibe or something like that, I think is kind of an interesting call. I'm gonna put the mythics in their own little pile here, because that's got some universal appeal. You have movies and cartoons and action figures and such where people can identify with. And by the way, I'm purely speculating that it's got some like mecha feel to it. Oh, this is a really great card. Try putting this in any Legends themed deck. I've been putting it in a couple, particularly, again, my casual format of choice is Commander. Tyrannical Protocol. Oh, Ivy. That's very cool. Oh, and a ceremonial card. See, this makes me happy, to be honest, because Masks was such a beloved set for me a long time ago. I loved playing the Mercenaries. There was like Rebels versus Mercenaries in this set. I absolutely love these, like the Kateran Slaver and Kateran Overlord. So seeing anything from Masks makes me happy, but your list slot was burned on like a 20-cent common that you could go buy online in en masse any day of the week. I don't, whatever there is to say for that, it is what it is. I guess they say, more is better, but Ivy is such an interesting card. But I don't really know. I don't know if the list going back to being bulk, unlike its previous incarnation where everything was a rare, is a great idea. But, we'll just see. That we kind of can't really control that too much. Temporary Lockdown is a great card, by the way. So I am really curious to see how the next set, Brothers War, plays out, because I don't think that this set is doing poorly necessarily. Boxes are still holding at like $100. Now that's probably because people haven't thrown in the towel yet and said, whoa, these aren't really going anywhere. I need my money back. It's still pretty early, remember? Oh, cool. A Rith. Oh, an Ellis Ilcor in foil. Sorry if I'm off camera, folks. I'm not too great at this in person yet. So yeah, that's a really neat pack there, because I really like Rith. And by the way, I'm going to give Victor Adame Minguez some credit really quick. So that's the artist. Victor Adame Minguez is one of my favorite. And if you can really get in there and appreciate his art style, he has a very, very deep, detailed, hyper realistic style of fantasy painting. And if you look at any of his work on a Magic card, it's just breathtaking. It has a kind of late 80s realism vibe to it. I don't wonder how close I can really get, but I am a huge fan of any art by Victor Adame Minguez, and I hope that they keep in touch. Let's just say I really hope that this type of art continues to populate Magic cards, because you could start to argue, and I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, you could start to argue that, I love a foil basic. There is kind of like a general look to Magic art, kind of like, this and this, it's Sagas excluded. There is kind of like a general look to Magic art, right? It's brand recognition. You need some control. Evolved Sleeper, very cool. So going outside of the box and making things a little left of center every now and then, that's okay, but they can't just do that across the set. The set can't be like a grab bag of art styles, because remember, you may not think about this all the time. As I go through here, like if I were to shuffle through this pack really quickly and you were really familiar with this set, you're not reading any of the names. You're looking at the pictures. Like that's how we sift through Magic cards. That's how we recognize them on the table. Oh, that's cool. Elmar. So, I have every single one of the Friends Forever cards, but I think it's cool to pick one up there. Look at the foiling on that. Is that coming through well? Like that is just wild. The art and the foil really come out well in this. Sweet. Yeah, you look at pictures. So the art style being something that's not really distracting, but also recognizable is important for a game like Magic. I'll try to pick it up here a little bit. I know I'm talking a lot. Let's just get to the cards. But like I was saying before, I'm curious to see where this lands when the Brothers War comes out. I'm curious off camera still. I'm very curious to know what happens to sales of this particular product when that comes out, because I don't think that it's gone crazy yet, or that the bottom's fallen out or anything. I just know, based on what I've said, or what I've heard from folks, is that folks aren't as pumped about this particular set as maybe Wizards thought they would be. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that they were probably relying too heavily on the nostalgia factor to move product. And that's just not fair, I think, to expect your product to appeal to people in a way that they can't control, if that makes any sense. I can't control how nostalgic I do or do not feel about a product, right? Because if I wasn't there, how can I sign up for that emotionally? So I think that Wizards will learn they've got to do something other than just bank on nostalgia. Now, I would argue that in my opinion, there is nothing about this set that falls short to me. Like, I think this is a really quality Magic set. It does remind me of kind of just a little more classic Magic sets. Like, everything's not pushed to the hilt or super over the top, or like, hey, here's obvious chase card. I mean, Liliana is a flavorful include. I don't mind that at all. I don't think that that's a chase card. You do want to have some powerful stuff to hunt down and open, but not in such a way that it warps the draft format or ruins standard or something like that. So I appreciate sets that are balanced out in that regard. That's one of the things I really loved about New Capenna, is I really enjoy multicolor focus. And I didn't think that there was anything like super out of the ordinary. Oh, see, Jade Avenger, it's like I just opened last year, right? Like 2021. I just opened box after box of these cards, and I now get a Frog Samurai in a set that has nothing to do with frogs or samurais with Bushido. Now, one might argue that the kind of reference to Rampage is maybe like Bushido's like Rampage Light. But I don't know. I love everything, as you probably know, watching this channel. Like I'm a cheap date in that regard. But I don't think I'm an idiot. You correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I don't consider myself an idiot, but I may certainly come across as one to others. That's fine. But I'm not sold on stuff like this. Like I'm just not sold that needed to be a list slot. I love everything, but I'm not that naive, I think. We're going to see where they end up taking that. Oh, so now I say that and then boom, there's a Dragon's Approach. Now, Dragon's Approach is actually a pretty expensive common card. I mean, this is worth a few dollars. This is odd because I opened like a case of Strixhaven and I got like 4 of these. So this is a card that they really did not want appearing too heavily in Standard. The Raven Man, kind of interesting from a lore perspective. So I don't know, putting a common in the list slot. I don't know. Give me like a visual reprint of an alpha card, I guess technically a beta card because of the corners. Give me a reprint of like a beta card. Look at that, double foil back to back in 2 different treatments of a card that I really don't think is that great. Yeah, hey, do something like really cool with the list. If you're gonna reprint, common chaff into a booster pack that's not really good for anything for folks, I don't know, make it something a little more interesting. Or just stop printing common chaff. Maybe just keep it up there because you do pay a little extra for set boosters because they're just fun to open, like I'm doing now. Oh, there's an artist signature. Does anyone care about these? Do you care about the artist signature? I think it's kind of cool. I do like collecting the art cards because I do enjoy the art of the sets. Vidalian Mindsinger, I thought that this was going to be a lot more impactful than it ended up being. That's kind of like if you remember the card Savage Knuckleblade from the Tarkir block. That was a card when it was previewed. People were like, oh, this is going to wreck Standard. This is going to be a powerhouse. Hey, another signature. 2 back-to-back. Beautiful. And it didn't really end up being much of anything. Oh, Shivan Devastator. Cool. So I think this is really only the second mythic that I've pulled out of this box so far. Yeah, it's really kind of... Oh, I guess there's Zur, Rith, and the Shivan Devastator so far. It's not too bad. I won't count Dahada because that's in a different slot. It's not too bad. Nothing... So there's, to check back in so far, again, I appreciate you watching. Nothing really crazy coming out of this. There's cool like Namada in a showcase. I like that card. Archangel of Wrath. I don't know what it is, but if you remember, this card was shown on the preview stream of this set, and you had folks talking about how cool that's going to be in draft and such. I don't know what it is about that card. If they knew they printed it a ton and they wanted folks to talk about it, I have like 9 of them. And I have from draft boxes alone, like there's some normal rares I've pulled very few of, if any. And then there's some rares that I've pulled like I say, like 9 of. I think that might be 10. There are a lot of that card. I don't know if they just want that to kind of direct people a little bit more in their draft construction. Maria, kind of cool. So I'm curious to build a deck with this. I have one other copy of this. For some reason, this is another card I don't pull a lot of. Tap a non-token artifact, add a green. So everything becomes a Mox Emerald, I guess, right? Or tap 2 untapped artifacts and then, get that impulsive card advantage. So I wonder, I've just been so curious. That seems like an obvious build around this particular ability type of card. But it could be one of those commander decks that if you're not too careful, somebody pops your commander. I have a bit of a commander bias when it comes to this. This is like someone okay, there's a cool, oh yeah, here we go. Oh, this is actually a really cool little set here. So I think that this commander card is really cool. So this is one of those, remember, commander cards you can't pull in a commander deck. It has to come from this set. So one card I'd really love to pull is the Mana Rig. I have one, but I just like pulling it. So that's a card that's got the commander symbol, but it's not going to actually be in a commander deck. I think that's very confusing to do. This card, Leyline Binding, is a really nice rare. This is a really impactful card. Okay, you get your foil, but then Sea Hunter. Do you remember Sea Hunter? Do you remember the Hunter cards? These were from Nemesis right after Mercadian Masks. 3 tap, search for a tribal card. So they had a card like this for elves, goblins, merfolk. It was really cool. That's a neat pull. And wow, that, by the way, the richness of the ink is odd. The cards weren't that blue back in the day. Does that look odd to you? Yeah, that is very saturated from the printer there. So I guess to kind of circle back, I really do enjoy the set because I've got a nostalgia bone for this for sure. I don't think that it's fair to expect everyone. Oh, there's a foil electrostatic infantry. That's cool. The Phasing of Zalfir. See, I love cards like this that have obvious story references. I think that's awesome. I'm enjoying the set. I don't know that it's obviously had the same impact on everyone. There's a list card there. Let's see if it's common. So I asked a poll recently. I said, how much of this stuff have you bought and opened? And the majority, okay, so you get a card like Shifting Wall. You know, it's like, okay, interesting story tie-in. There's Gerard, but I don't understand maybe the card choice. So Stronghold Arena, very cool. I love the multicolor kicker, as I said in previous videos. But I took a poll and I asked everybody, how much of this have you bought? How much of this have you opened? And the answer basically was not a whole lot. You know, I think folks are, the general consensus was, hey, I'm a bit burned out from, you know, spending a lot of money. Another Zur, very, very cool, but odd to get 2 of the same mythic. I'm burned out from Double Masters. I haven't gotten a lot out of this set emotionally, and I'm just not going to go shell out, you know, hundreds of dollars because these booster boxes, I would be shocked if, oh, Chivalry, oh, whoa, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. My favorite of the old Painlands, Yavimaya Coast, in new awesome art and in foil. Happy Day. I love it. Yeah, I already have it, but whatever. I love it. It never gets old. And then Shivan Reef. Look at the art on this one. It's just so awesome. Like, I love that cool, like, section view through the water. Oh, so rad. That is a fun pack right there. I'm glad. That was toward the end here. Really cool. So I'd be curious as we wrap this video up. I know I've been a little all over the place and talked a lot, but what are your thoughts? Have you enjoyed the set? This is a pretty nice pull now, Plaza of Heroes. Have you enjoyed the set? Have you bought much? Are you opening much? Do you want me to open a little bit more and ramble again? Let me know in the comments. I really appreciate, as always, you sticking around, supporting the channel. I have so much fun doing this. This was just started as a way to kind of relax for me, and it ended up being a really fun community full of people, and I just really appreciate it. Last but not least, Box Topper, and then I will let you go. I try to be careful with. Oh, they have a little. Yeah, they have that. I try to be really careful with these. These are very easy to mess up. So here, what do you think it is? Do you think that it is worth our time? Oh my gosh. As I say, I'm not going to mess it up. I start to mess it up. Be careful, folks. What do you think this is? And it's, oh, Lady of Oteria. So just to let you know, so this is a riff on Lady of the Mountain, I believe. And so you can tap 3 untapped dwarves rather than pay this spell's mana cost. That's pretty cool. It doesn't mean you avoid the commander tax, by the way. And at the beginning of each end step, if a land you controlled was put into a graveyard from the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put any number of dwarves from among them into your hand, the rest on the bottom. So this is dwarf tribal without being a dwarf if there ever was one. I haven't pulled this yet because, you know, you get very few opportunities to get these cards. I'm very excited to build around that. What a cool closing. What a cool card. See, this is why, last comment, this is why folks like me that are old like this set, because this is a callback to something that I played with like 28 years ago, you know, and that's kind of cool. So to see it again, given new life, reborn in foil on a Magic card in the advent of a format called Commander that, you know, never existed a long time ago. It's just cool, but that's going to hit me differently than it's going to hit you. To each their own. Never get caught up in pandemonium or unnecessary fandom. Stick to your guns, do what makes you happy, and as always, buy what you love. So thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.